They'll find us later.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Well, everybody here knows my story pretty much. Riding a horse, I was doing horses for my artwork and riding horses with Pia, actually. Pia was my riding buddy. And my horse fell in a loosely packed hole in the arena. It was filled with leaves and things like that. So it looked like it was solid ground, but in fact it was soft ground. And my horse fell down, went down in the front, and I went over the top like people do when they ride horses. You're used to falling, so you just fall. But when I was on the ground, I said to myself, uh-oh, I think I'm in big trouble, because I realized I couldn't move anything. Pia came to my aid, put my horse away, the ambulance came, and that's the last thing I remember until I woke up and the surgery was done. Thank goodness, because I wouldn't want to have to remember that. Oh, look, there's Amy and Ryan. Come and sit down, there's lots of chairs all around. During my rehab, the physical therapist told me that they would teach me to draw with a pencil in my mouth. And I got so mad at that. I thought that was such an insult to my profession of being an artist and a teacher that I absolutely refused to even attempt anything like that. But I didn't really know how I was going to make art. And I thought, man, I have a lot of inspiration here. I'm a living inspiration here. So Peter suggested that I get a computer tablet. And I hope most of you know what that is, or all of you know what that is. It's a tablet that you draw on or write on or whatever. It goes into your computer. Come on in. Hey, is that Matt?
It sure is.
Oh my goodness, come in and sit down. For me, student. Anyway, on this, you have to, I draw into Photoshop and do all, oops, people are slowly coming in. Tell them to come in. Come in, come in. And drawing on this computer tablet, it shows itself on a monitor, you know, my computer monitor. And I had to figure out, I had very little movement. I could only go in a diagonal motion. And we basically turned the screen around because I couldn't move my hand anyway except from lower right to upper left. So we manipulated the screen and the tablet so I could make some lines that would make sense. Anyway, the first print that I made, and I think you'll see it out there, it's really my favorite print. It's the one called Two Hands, because it has that hand that I drew, the first thing that I drew, and it has a hand from before my injury, and that's the big print that's up as you come into the exhibit. I reduced it down because with Photoshop you can do anything. I reduced it down to like ½ an inch. It's 4 feet high, but it got real small. And it shows the transition between my work that I did before and the work that I was embarking on. And I just kept playing around with different techniques, because we were going where no man has ever gone. I mean, I didn't know how it was going to work out to make this into prints, but we had a grant from the dean's office, actually, for materials, and we tried all different kinds of materials to make things work. We finally ended up on a photo process that seems to be, everything seems to be working fine. Katie is my studio assistant now. My original assistant, Erin Miller, was the one who had tremendous patience to work through all the failures before we got it to work correctly. But the biggest problem now is we're having trouble getting plates to be able to process the image from the computer onto a plate to be able to print it. I'm not going to go through all the printing process. I don't think you really want to hear that. It's, kind of like Dr. Voodoo, well, we have Artist Voodoo. So it's complicated, but we went through a number of different kinds of processes that were, sounded good, but they ended up not being good. But now we have a good process. And here we are. My inspiration for the work, well, obviously, it's all about me. And really, every artist's work is about themselves. It may not be as direct as mine, but artists always, if it comes from inside and it's real fine art, not commercial art, it's about them in some format. Even now, I've just started to do a print on a drawing on cactus plants. I think I'm going to do a series. And you wonder, is that about Sheila? Well, yeah, I love to garden, and the idea of cactus plants being beautiful and threatening at the same time is very intriguing. So, as you know, you get thorns from the cactus plants that don't feel so good. Then you can call the doctors, and you guys get business. I really don't have much. Oh, I do have one other thing to say. A lot of people come up to me and they say, "Oh, you're so brave, you're so strong, you're so inspirational, you're so brave, blah, blah, blah." The truth is, you just do it. If I didn't do it, what would I be doing? Staying at home in bed? Just doing nothing. So you just do what you do and go as far as you can go. And experiment if you have that kind of temperament. And you just go through it, and that's the way it is. So I want to thank all of you for coming. That was very nice. Some from Phoenix, some from Tucson. Matt, where are you living now?
Denver.
You didn't come from Denver. You did?
Oh.
Wow.
Wow.
That's really lovely. Matt was one of my students who did Japanese film references. And now, you know what he does? Well, I don't know, are you still doing the Dead Zone or what?
Yep.
He's producing?
No, I'm on it.
You're on it as a host?
Sort of, basically.
Oh my God, on the Dead Zone, on what?
Dead Files.
Dead Files. Can you believe that?
I'm trying to get some art done though.
Oh my God. How did you ever get into that?
Long story.
Wow. Anyway, that's very nice. And there's Stephanie sitting next to him. She's a med student now, but she was one of my caregivers for a couple of years. It's real easy for me to get caregivers because here's my secret. I put an ad in the listserv for all the pre-meds, pre-nursing, any kind of pre-science. And I say, well, I often write letters for my girls and they get into med school. Man, do I get phone calls because they all want to get a good letter for med school. I'm not going to go through and talk about each one of the pieces. I did write little blurbs about them. Oh, wait, I forgot to mention Bill and Tino. Bill has been my physical therapist for 8 years. And Tino, thank you, Bill. And there's a piece about Bill. It's the one where I'm walking in the garden and looks like I'm dancing. Well, the handsome partner I have, as you can tell, is Bill. When we walk together, I have a brace on, and when we walk together, it's like dancing. So I did that print about Bill and me dancing through the garden. And Tino is there. Tino helps me also and stays with us in the evenings. And then there's my wonderful husband, Lynn, who's going to hide because he doesn't like attention, drawn to himself. But he's always there, and he's been an incredible inspiration to me. My kids are here, Rachel, Greg, where's Greg? Oh, Greg, okay. And Amy and Alan, my grandkids, Ryan, and Ike and Eve, and lots of friends. This is very nice. Why don't you ask me questions if you have any, and I'll answer them best I can. Hello. Thea, go ahead, Thea.
Well, in some of the works, there seemed to be a lot of text that you incorporate into the works. And number one, where did you get the text? And then number two, it looks like that kind of goes away as your work develops. So can you tell us about your
I thank you for
choice
mentioning
of
that.
text?
You don't know about the text.
No. I mean, I know I saw your alphabet, but this is way before. These are in the early works.
The show was not hung chronologically.
Yeah.
Oh, in the early works.
Like with the dog collar.
Oh, yeah. Well, I had been
garland is
using text in the horse pictures, the horse prints. So I carried them over. I use text often as a gray value. So it's not real important what I'm saying, although I try to make it pertinent.
Yeah.
But I use it as a gray value, mainly. The rest of the text that I'm using now, the new text, is text that Katie and I developed. How long did it take us? Well over a year.
Well, so you had your lowercase letters
They were done.
or your uppercase letters figured out.
Right.
And then Sheila decided that she wanted to have a full alphabet instead of just, because it just, at times having all caps just wasn't appropriate.
So I developed the lowercase letters,
Mm-hmm.
and then we had to get the program to be able to type them in. That was the hard part. It wasn't making the letters, so it took well over a year to make the letters. And I should say my drawings, which normally would take a non-disabled person maybe a day or 2 or 3 days to make, takes me months. The horse drawing took months. The all fours drawing took months. You just have to do a little at a time. But I am doing it. Anyway, it was like we had given up.